O'Neill outside.
Good afternoon, boys and girls. This is O'Neill, and it's time for the podcast. And let me encourage you two things before we get to it. Be sure and watch O'Neill Outside with Travis Johnson Television, and listen to O'Neill Outside Radio on AM 750 WSB and the Sports Broadcast Network nationally every Saturday morning, 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. The television show, of course, is on various networks weekly and has been for the last 37 years. All right, let's get to it. But first of all, let me also tell you that this podcast is brought to you by Timbuktu Outdoors, Tough Shed, Works Tools, the Whitetail Institute, True Turn Hooks and Roadrunner Lures, O'Neill's Lubes and Oils, and Zach Brown's Southern Grind Knives. Okay? Now let's get to it. Today's communication, today's podcast, today's conversation, whatever you want to call it, is going to be a little bit different than most of the time. We're just going to refer to this as slow down and appreciate your harvest. What in the world am I talking about? Well, let's say you've done all the correct things to make your hunt for deer or turkey or bear or ducks and so on successful and rewarding, and it has happened. The whitetail buck you've been hunting, he's a respectable buck, and he's made himself exposed for whatever reason, food plot or chasing a doe, whatever, and you've pulled the trigger or you've released the bow, and you got him. It was a well-placed shot, and for this conversation, we'll just say he's dead. Now what? Well, don't get in such a hurry. Slow down. Take a look around. If he's likely dead or totally incapacitated, he's not going anywhere, so just be quiet and be still. Why? Well, did he have any bigger buck friends of his or rivals or competitors that were following him that might want to take a look at what happened? Now think about it for a moment. Do white-tailed deer really know what just happened? They'll probably spook at the sound of the rifle, but who knows? They might stop and want to come over and take a look around. They might want to see what happened to one of their buddies. Okay, well, nothing else shows up. So it's been about 10 minutes or so, take a few cell phone photos from the stand and then climb down. Relax. Look around. Or you can step out of the blind if you are in one and walk over to your targeted kill. First of all, you're already rechambered or reloaded your muzzleloader or rifle. You reach out and touch his eye. If there is no reaction, then he's dead. Now what? First thing you should do is unload your rifle. Then text your buddies on the hunt, you know that are there, and let them know what just happened, that you didn't fall out of the tree, and if they want, they can come over and enjoy the experience with you. Text them. Do not telephone them. Now, have a seat. Look around. Take in the situation. Try and file away what just happened. The temperature, the wind direction, how the scene had unfolded. From what direction did he walk in? Were there any other deer around? Think about it. After all, it'll likely never happen just that way again. And you should remember it well enough to tell the story literally dozens of times over the next few decades, and you can relive it. Okay, now, get ready, set, take photos. If you're alone, take selfies. If your buddies have arrived, let them take the photos. Set the deer up with his head and rack held high, nose down, and facing the camera in front of you. Tuck his legs up under his body and, if you have to get a log or something, sit him up in an upright position. Include your rifle or your bow or your muzzleloader in the shot, and be sure it's not pointed at your face, okay? In your backpack, if you recall, you have stored a few damp rags to clean away the blood from the bullet hole or the arrow hole. If you don't have any rags, shame on you. But then just get some dirt, okay, and rub up and clean off the blood. If his tongue is sticking out, stuff it back in or cut it off. I mean, he's dead, what the heck. Now, how about the photos? Get close. You don't need to see much sky behind you, nor the ground or the grass or the food plot in front. Take dozens of shots. You'll be editing most of them, you'll delete a bunch of them, and possibly you'll have one framed. So this is serious. You really need to do a good job. Devote time to the photo session. All you really have to see is you, your rifle, the deer, and his rack. The last half of the deer is not needed, nor is the sky behind you in any significant way, or, again, the ground in front. It needs to be close up, okay? What else do? You dress it out if possible. You care for and age the cuts. Learn and study as to the recommendations for cooking, then offer to serve it to your family and your friends. Good idea, huh? Now, your hunt is complete. I hope you enjoyed it, and everyone else likewise values it just as much as you have. And when you show the photos and tell the story, tell it to a son, grandson, some youngster in the family, or a youngster in the neighborhood whose dad is not an outdoorsman or whose dad doesn't live at home. Spread it out. Recruit the next generation of deer hunters. If it weren't for us outdoorsmen, there would be no money for wildlife conservation. And you keep that in mind. This is O'Neill. Glad you tuned in. Listen to O'Neill on radio and watch us on television. Maybe you'll get a kick out of it. Maybe you and I can learn something together. I'll see you soon.